What if I told you the city of brotherly love is knee-deep in garbage? Not just literal piles of trash on the curb, but years of political decay swept under the rug. This isn't just a sanitation strike, it's a cautionary tale. And like any good story, it starts with lofty ideals and ends with rats on the pavement. Today we dig into how Philadelphia, a liberal stronghold for decades, has managed to choke itself with its own progressive policies. Welcome to the Marc Perspective. Let's get to it. So let's talk about trash as symptom. 9,000 city workers are off the job. That's sanitation, maintenance, and clerical staff. Trash pickup halted. And if you're a Philly resident, you're being told to haul your own bags to drop-off sites. We're talking about in the month of July, in this sweltering heat. While you dodge potholes and open-air drug use, which is really bad in Philadelphia. But let that sink in. A city with a $6 billion budget can't get its trash collected. But here's the twist. This isn't about one strike. It's about what happens when a city builds a house of ideology with no plumbing.
Well, developing right now, negotiations are set to continue today as thousands of Philadelphia workers remain on strike for a third day. Talks between District Council 33 leaders and the city fell apart again overnight. So the mountains of trash just continue to pile up on the streets this morning as sanitation workers remain off the job. Take a look at this massive amount of garbage that Chopper 6 found along Devereaux Avenue near Langdon Street in the Northeast. This is not a designated drop-off site, but it's kind of become a thing. People taking their garbage out there, and it is going to be a massive job to clean up. Look at how far that stretches. Action News reporter Corey Davis joins us now live from a sanitation center in Southwest Philadelphia with the very latest. And Corey, these temperatures and humidity only making the stench worse.
Yeah, Tam, a lot of people are dealing with that across the city, and the picketers right now continuing to strike. They're further down 63rd Street where it's quiet at the moment, and over here is where residents are, where they have dropped off their trash at the designated sites here, the 63rd Street Sanitation Center. These employees here, the ones who are not part of the union, are the ones who are emptying these bins that are continuing to be filled. So after a tense couple of days, city leaders are continuing to remind the picketers to protest peacefully and to allow access to facilities just like this one. Today, the situation is more calm at the 63rd Street Sanitation Center in Southwest Philadelphia on the third day of the District Council 33 strike. But yesterday, law enforcement responded after workers on strike reportedly blocked other city employees from entering. This happened after a judge ordered picketers not to block access to buildings or facilities. The city's solicitor says law enforcement is trying to monitor protests across the city.
They are running around the city dealing with protesters who've been asked to move along, and they go right back. And this is putting a strain on our resources.
The solicitor also says some picketers have gone too far.
And the kind of things that we are dealing with are jammed locks at health centers. We couldn't get our doctors into the health centers today. Opening fire hydrants. Yesterday they were slashing tires on trucks. Preventing trash drop-offs. We have residents going to drop off their trash and they're getting harassed on their way.
Police arrested 59-year-old Carnell Wilder. He's accused of slashing a PGW worker's tires Tuesday in Winfield Heights. Union leaders are urging members to follow the law and court orders. They're also asking the public to help support their demands for higher pay as the union's nearly 9,000 members continue to strike.
Nobody understands financial constraints more than our members, right? And so we're asking for a little bit of release so we can loosen our belt just a little bit instead of continuously keep tightening them. There's no more left to tighten.
And here at the 63rd Street Sanitation Center, we haven't seen any issues between picketers and people trying to drop off their trash. Everything has been fairly calm, fairly quiet so far over the course of the day. And once again, we're being told that negotiations are expected to resume today as well. Reporting live here in Southwest Philadelphia, Corey Davis, Channel 6 Action News.
Yes,
Alicia?
so many people in so many different realms are really hoping for a quick resolution on this. Corey, thank you.
To Philadelphia now, where with the workers' strike ongoing, garbage piling up as huge crowds pack the city for Independence Day, and headliners, including LL Cool J, pulling out of big performances in solidarity. ABC's Olivia Rubin joins us now with more. Good morning, Olivia.
Janae, good morning. This is day 5 of this strike that you're talking about, and this is the largest blue-collar workers union in the city, and the effects there are intensifying. Over 9,000 of Philadelphia's critical workers, think sanitation workers, 911 dispatchers, and members of the water department, walked off the job Tuesday at 12:01, demanding better pay and working conditions. 4th of July celebrations did move forward there, but the largest Independence Day parade in the nation losing some of its headlining performers. LL Cool J, as you said, standing with those workers, backing out of his performance. He said on social media, quote, "There's absolutely no way that I could perform across a picket line and pick up money when I know that people out there are fighting for a living wage." R&B singer and Philly native Jasmine Sullivan soon following suit there. The union, known as DC 33, praising those cancellations as, quote, "amazing news" as they try to force this deal here. Another big problem, though, is the trash. Garbage is piling up on the streets as negotiations hit a standstill. There's been no word on when those negotiations might resume since they ended on Wednesday without a deal. The union most recently proposing a 5% wage increase per year for the next 3 years, according to our Philadelphia station WPVI. The city countering, proposing essentially 2% per year. The city's mayor, Sherelle Parker, previously said she, quote, "did right by the blue-collar men and women of the District Council 33 with her offer." Speaking on the 4th of July, she said while the strike is, quote, "not preferred, it is a right." Gio.
Hopefully they get those negotiations going again very, very soon. Olivia Rubin, thank you so much.
So, how did we get here? How did the birthplace of American democracy become a case study in urban entropy? First, unions. Now, before I ruffle any feathers or get a certain backlash, let me be perfectly clear. I respect the role of unions and what they've played in protecting labor rights. But in Philadelphia, this relationship between government and organized labor has grown incestuous. You got administration so deep in union backing that reform is politically suicidal. That's not solidarity, that's stagnation. Take AFSCME District Council 33, for instance. It's powerful, entrenched, and historically linked to the city leadership. The result? Bureaucratic sprawl, delayed innovation, and virtually no performance accountability. It's hard to fix the machine when every wrench turn risks a lawsuit. So the city has residency requirements. The city mandates that municipal employees live within Philadelphia city limits. So in theory, it's about building community ties. But however, to me, it's a stranglehold on a talent pipeline, especially for specialized roles. You can't fill a sanitation shortage when your hiring pool's been cut in half. But to me, that's not local pride. That's workforce sabotage. Also, Philadelphia leadership has leaned heavy into progressive ideals, equity initiatives, restorative justice, and cultural programming. But here's the kicker. When a city becomes obsessed with performative progressivism, someone has to mind the streets. And that someone is, well, you tell me, because I don't see him. I believe they're MIA. It's like fixing the front porch while your foundation cracks beneath you. The budget gets bloated with initiatives that sound virtuous in press release, but leave basic services gasping for air. Police response times lag, trash pickups get delayed, and infrastructure withers. So no one's saying equity doesn't matter, well, depending on how you term it, but when it eclipses functionality, you stop serving everyone, including those you claim to uplift.
Let me start by saying good afternoon, everyone. As you know, District Council 33 remains on strike. They walked away from the negotiating table just before midnight on Monday, June 30th. The city of Philadelphia put its best offer on the table, and unfortunately, District Council 33 did not accept it. Today is the third day of this work stoppage. Regarding the status of negotiations, I want the city of Philadelphia to know that our negotiating team, led by Chief Deputy Mayor Sincere A. Harris and other senior city officials, returned to the negotiating table last night with District Council 33. We did not reach an agreement. We offered, and this is important to note for the record, the city of Philadelphia offered to return to the table today, and the union did not accept that offer. I want to be clear, Philadelphia. The city of Philadelphia cannot negotiate with itself. The city of Philadelphia remains committed to reaching a fair and fiscally responsible contract with our municipal workers who are members of District Council 33. Mayor Parker, what's on the table? The offer is historic. More than 13% over my 4-year term. It's the largest pay increase proposal in one term of any Philadelphia mayor to District Council 33 in more than 30 years. You can't make up that math. The larger pay increase, it is larger, of an increase over 4 years for municipal blue-collar union workers than recent agreements in other big cities, such as New York, Washington, D.C., Boston, and Phoenix. So I just need to go back because there's been some confusion about what's on the table. Let me repeat that. An historic offer, more than 13% over 4 years, the largest pay increase proposal in one term of any Philadelphia mayor to District Council 33 in more than 30 years. That's a larger pay increase over 4 years for municipal blue-collar unions. You heard me. New York, Washington, D.C., Boston, and Phoenix. I said it twice to make sure that everyone heard me. It includes what we refer to as a fifth step for District Council 33's hard-working, long-term employees to give them greater earning potential. Why is that important? If economic opportunity for all and economic mobility is essential for this city, when members are entering into District Council 33, we want them to be able to see that there is opportunity for economic growth. That's what the fifth step meant to us. Economic mobility for the members of District Council 33, and we were told that they're not interested. I also spoke earlier this week about our home plan. You'll remember, it's the $2 billion plan to build, preserve, and restore 30,000 units of housing in the city of Philadelphia for Philadelphians, including members of District Council 33. What did you put on the table, Mayor, specifically for District Council 33 members, not for the city of Philadelphia at large? We're talking about the members of District Council 33. Well, we talked about segregating $7.5 to $10 million in mortgage assistance specifically allocated for attraction and retention of our blue-collar municipal employees. And I was told that the members of District Council 33 are not interested in obtaining a 30-year mortgage, low-rate mortgage, so that they can become homeowners in the city of Philadelphia. That's not something that's important to those members. We have BSRP Plus on the table, something that we just fought for here here in our city, and we worked hard in partnership with the City Council of Philadelphia, led by our City Council President Kenyatta Johnson, to make sure that basic systems home repair support would be available to Philadelphians so that we increase the income eligibility guidelines, very specifically to ensure that men and women like our blue-collar municipal workers who are a part of District Council 33, so that they can get access to supports to help them make repairs to their homes. I was told that making home repairs and having access to resources that would help them to do such is not important to members of District Council 33. There's the Philly First Home program. You can get up to $10,000 for closing costs, down payment assistance. I was told that doesn't matter. Shallow rent protection, turn the key homes. These programs are designed for the hardworking men and women of our municipal unions, including District Council 33. So Philadelphia, for me, when we think about the package that has been offered to District Council 33 members, one, I'm not so sure that the actual members of District Council 33 are fully clear about what the city has put on the table. I wonder whether or not even the local leaders are familiar with the historic terms that the city of Philadelphia has put on the table. I can't be held accountable for what happened during the Sutton years. I was in elementary school. I was working when Mayor Nutter was mayor. I can't make up for those times, but I can be accountable for what the city of Philadelphia is doing right now and how it is, in a very tangible way, putting an offer on the table to our municipal employees to show them that we need them to keep our city of Philadelphia moving. And I, as mayor, know one thing for sure: the commitment that I made to you, the people of the city of Philadelphia, to make it safe, clean, and green with access to economic opportunity for all, it doesn't happen without the hardworking men of District Council 33 and women who keep our city moving. Let me say this. All of this is on the table. What is my hope as mayor of the city? I want District Council 33 to come back to the table. We're going to talk about the 4th of July in a second, but I want our men and women of District Council 33 to come back to the table and negotiate with the city of Philadelphia so that we can get to yes and do what's right in the best interest of our municipal workers, along with the tax-paying residents of our city.
You know what I find amazing is that the mayor, Cheryl Parker of Philadelphia, she ran her campaign showing that, she was with the union. She supported the union, and the union loved her. And the unions, most of all the unions in Philadelphia, backed her. And that's what helped her to get across that finish line. But I believe when she got there, and also they made these promises of equity, inclusion, and diversity, and the usual stuff that sounds good on paper, but when reality hits, things have to change. And I believe this mayor got into the office, saw the books. Well, first I think they started spending on projects that they could not sustain, because now you're neglecting everything else. And when she realized that she was going to hit a problem, that's when now she wants to become a more fiscally responsible mayor. And I find that truly amazing. But like I said, I'm a very honest person. And I'm also going to say that there are red states and conservative cities that also have their own dysfunctions. Infrastructure. We're still short on infrastructure. Teacher shortages. I know the area where I live at and around, in a lot of red states and conservative cities, there's a huge teacher shortage. And I believe it's because of a lot of politics within the teachers unions and so forth, and also the pay. And plus a collapsing public health system, which I think this president is addressing in his big beautiful bill. So that's the one thing that I feel is some of the dysfunctions in the red cities and states. I do feel that the blue states and liberal cities are dealing with a lot more problems. But here's the difference. Philadelphia claims to be a model for progressive urban governance. So it's fair to ask, if this is a blueprint, what kind of house are we building? Because Mayor Parker isn't your typical progressive. Well, she was in the beginning, but now she's taken a centrist line on crime and spending. Before it wasn't, but now she's half taken a centrist line. So now even within Philadelphia leadership, the ideological seams are showing, and you can tell because of this strike. So are we watching a quiet rebellion against the activist status quo? Who knows? But it's very interesting.
I moved here in 2008 out of homelessness. A lot of memories I have is my daughter being able to be out here playing and me having that sense of security, like even if I didn't come to this door, sit outside and watch her, she was safe.
Look at the years that we've been here, 20-something years. Everybody you speak to here, they're going to tell you years like that, 24, 30 years, 15 years. People feel like this is their home. Altman came along and said in the second court there he would like to have a meeting with us. I'm thinking in my mind that maybe they're going to build playgrounds for the children or plant flowers, because I love flowers and plants, and I always thought that would spruce up the neighborhood. Came and he threw a whammy. He said you have until next year, July the 8th, to move out. We was like looking at each other like, what?
I moved into townhouses in 2003. I'm 64 now. I want to stay if I can. It's my home. It's my home. That's the home I know right now. And so many people have got so many negative vibes about this, but that's fine. I'm going to just I'm going to be with everybody to the end. That's all I got to say. I'm going to fight this to the end with everybody.
So I live where those cones are, where he's walking. That was 3645 Market Street. These were all commercial properties. So it had a storefront, window. My stepsister was a beautician, so it was her beauty parlor. She let us live in the 2 rooms in the back, 13 of us, and 12 children and 2 adults. I lived there from the 1940s, let's see, until the 50s, early 50s. It was a very, very tight community. It was self-sufficient. It was largely made up of poor, working class and middle class families. Penn's push to try to expand came in the 1950s, 60s or so. We took a stand at 38th and Market Street and decided we were not going to move. We put barbed wire across 40th Street to stop cars from coming through. We built a trench city in front of the bulldozers and was committed towards, if we damn the bulldozers, we will not move. And this fight just went on up until the 1970s, when in fact Penn had accomplished its goals and had pretty much wiped out the black bottom. These houses where we're standing at now, called University City townhouses, weren't created until the 1980s or so.
We're working families, but we don't have the money to keep up with what's going on out here. And since we don't, it puts us in a category that we have to live like wherever neighborhood they want us to live in, and live like this because we don't meet whatever their standards are. It's very hurtful. When I think about it, I get really, really, really pissed off. And that's why there's so much violence in the world. Because when you're quiet about it, it's okay. But when you think about it and talk about it, it gets you enraged.
I don't have the ability to do that right now, but I will. Write down my name.
I know you'd be good once you be dipping.
So I played those two videos for a reason. As you can see that there's still a housing crisis in Philadelphia, even though they've made it where they had affordable housing for people that say they were working, I don't know, but living in low income household, and the city having to take certain measures because they can't afford to continue paying for people to live in very low income housing, especially when the cost of living continues to rise. The city can't afford to continue paying people to live at low incomes, not have a job, and just living off of the taxpayers. Sooner or later, taxpayers begin to complain, especially when they're the ones who's fronting the bill. And so that was one reason why I played that. And the second video I played was of Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia. Just really sad. Because as you can see, the city invests in diversity, equity, inclusion, and so forth. And that video was recorded in the month of July. So that should tell you something of this year. It should tell you a lot, that the resources are not going to where it's supposed to be, or the people that you see on those streets don't really care about the resources. It's all about the drugs. You get their little free money, and then they take it and they get high and they're hanging out in the streets and doing all kind of crap, and the city cannot control it. So you get the strike going on, and you also have a whole other host of problems in the city of Philadelphia. It's a rock socket mess out there, and the only way you can basically fix it, well, it's hard to fix something that the city's been running on such liberal ideology that now you want to fix the problem by becoming more fiscally responsible. And it's hard when you've spent so much on these progressive ideology. Now, how do you rein in that spending so that you could run a well-functioning city? Well, you're going to have problems, because now you're trying to get people to convert to your fiscally responsible movement, and you just can't. People cannot fall in line with that. So this mayor is a step too late in changing the behaviors of a city. And I wish her all the luck, but these people, it's so expensive to live out in Philadelphia that the people want more than what the city can afford. Tough. It's definitely tough, but what are you going to do? You know, you could just stay your ground and figure it out. If it was me, I'd follow a Ronald Reagan approach. Let them strike. Rehire, train, because there's people out there and offer the same thing you were going to offer them, the union workers, but offer it to new people and then start from scratch again. Now that you've changed that, you can now take your fiscally responsible fiscal ideology, you could take your fiscal ideology and now you could implement it into a well-functioning city whereby you're not spending it on all these crazy progressive ideologies, but you're now spending it on people, the taxpayers, the city, police workers and so forth. Now you can invest your money into these people because they deserve it and not into nonsense. Because as you can see, you're spending the money on nonsense and Kensington Avenue still looks a rock-socket mess with junkies and so forth. So I wish Philadelphia the best of luck. Until then, I'm about to go ahead and put some steaks on the grill and enjoy my Sunday. For the rest of you guys, please enjoy your day. Whatever it is, just be safe out there, follow the law, and let's go at it again on my next video. Until then, peace.